Drago. I was born in the West End, and from the West End, we moved to South Boston. From South Boston, we moved to Uplands Corner, Dorchester. From there, I got married, and before I got married, I went in the Marine Corps. It was kind of lonesome in my neighborhood because all my eligible friends were running in the service: Navy, Army, Marine Corps, and one of my best friend, Russell. He happened to be he was 4F. He couldn't go in the service, and so one day he took me by the hand and took me down to the Marine Corps recruiting station in Boston, and I joined the Marine Corps. And of course, when I brought the paper home, my mother refused to sign it, and I told her I was going to run away from home if she didn't sign the paper. And so she finally relinquished and signed the paper, and this was May 1942, and I joined the Marine Corps. And I was 16. I was born in 26. Oh, Paris Island, it was in December, and yeah, the reason it was December because when I got there, I came down with cat fever and I was hospitalized. That was from the tetanus shot that they gave me, and I wound up in another platoon. And of course, the weather was superb, the palm trees, but my drill instructor was Sergeant Doyle and Corporal Reed, and Sergeant Doyle was a sadist. He was drunk all the time, and he would hustle us out of the barracks 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and stark naked, he'd have us get on our hands and knees with bricks, sand, and dirt, and water, what they call holy stone the deck. And after that, we'd hose it down, and then, buckets of water, and then bring our bunks back in. Other times they would take our rifles, put bayonets on them, and in our underwear or naked, he'd have us crawl up and over to all the bunks with the rifle, behind us. And also at the slightest infraction, he'd have us all march all night out in the dirt, out in the sand there with full packs. And but it turned out, we all turned out good. We wound up at the rifle range. I shot expert, and in those days, the pay was $50 a month. When I fired expert, I got $5 extra. So I got $55 a month. And it went down in increments. Sharpshooter was $30, sharpshooter was $3, and marksman got $2. But in any event, then I was, after boot camp, I was sent home on leave. Oh my God, I wouldn't want to go through it again. It was really tough. And of course, you never complained. And every time I wrote a letter home to my family and my friends, I always described everything, how rosy it was, how, the food was good, everything. I never complained about what we were going through. And I mean, hey, we had a lot of sleepless nights there, and the treatment was horrendous. Very sadistic, but I guess that was part of the training back then. All the drill instructors were like that, and when they party all night, and we were the ones who suffered. But a lot of them went on to combat themselves, got killed, but it was the training that, helped us a great deal, not only in combat, but later in life. And I still remember it today. Without that training, I don't think I would have survived the war, because I was able to do so many things during combat, not only for myself, but for my buddies, that, once you learn these things in boot camp, you never forget them. It's second nature to you. And even today, there are many, many people who say they saved their life because of their training in boot camp in the Marine Corps. From there, I went to Indian Head, Maryland, the Naval Gunpowder Factory, and we pulled security there. We were one of the last horse Marines. we had horses to patrol the perimeter, and as I say, it bordered on the Potomac River, and also that's where I got my formal training, my MOS as a machine gunner, and we used to fire the machine gun over the Potomac River, and oftentimes we had to make sure there were no boats out there because some of our Marines were kind of cuckoo and they would fire on the boats on the Potomac River. And I remember vividly, gate number 11, post number 11, was the only gate leading down to the Potomac River, and a lot of personnel, a lot of high-ranking officers wanted to come, get on base through that gate, but we couldn't allow them. We tell them, hey, you get the commanding officer to change the orders of the day, then we can let you in. But I make a long story short, it had 11 or 12 posts, and it was very rigid, disciplinary, and we had a golf course there, which we didn't get to play, but we were the ones who maintained the golf course, dig up the greens and pick up the pebbles. We've had Secretary of the Navy there, Admiral King was there, who was the Chief of Naval Operations. A lot of high-ranking military from Washington played there, and overall we had the security of all civilians and military personnel who came on board. And once a week we would change into undress blues and go to Washington to the Treasury and get the payroll. We took a train out of Camp Lejeune. We went from my barracks duty to Camp Lejeune, and from Camp Lejeune we boarded the trains and we went cross country. And it took us more than a week to reach San Diego. And of course, between Camp Lejeune, Tent City, and San Diego, there's nothing. You know, the country was wide open. And but San Diego was beautiful. And our uniforms were taken away, and we were restricted to the area in San Diego. And then we boarded a troop ship. And the troop ship left, and everybody got seasick. And then everything was peaceful and quiet. We were allowed up on deck, and we found out the ship had turned around and went back to San Diego. There was a submarine scare. And then the ship went back out again, and we went to Hawaii. Then from Hawaii, we went to American Samoa. And we trained there for I don't know how many months. American Samoa, they brought in the 4th Marines. We're part of the 1st Marine Provisional Brigade, 22nd Marines and 4th Marine Regiments. And then we went on board the ship of the West Point for Guam, the Marshall Islands, Kwajalein, and from there, after secured those, we went back, we went to Guadalcanal. And on Guadalcanal, they brought in the 29th Marine Regiment, part of which fought on Saipan, Tinian. And on Guadalcanal, with the 3 regiments, then they formed up the 15th Marine Regiment, which was an artillery outfit, a holdover from World War I. Well, when the troop ship arrived in the Solomon Islands, I couldn't believe that this was the Guadalcanal where they had the famous battle, because a lot of the people who survived Guadalcanal were my heroes. John Barcelone was my hero, Lou Diamond, and Bonnie Ross, Al Schmidt. They were my fave. And I'm trying to think of the aviators.
Oh, aviators. It's always, you can always think of the grunts, can't you?
No, but
Geiger. General Geiger was a famous.
Yeah, but the ones who got the Congressional Medal of Honors and
Pappy Boynton.
Pappy Boynton got one in there. Foss.
Joe Foss.
Joe Foss, he was one of my idols. And I mean, it's endless. And then during maneuvers on Guadalcanal, I mean, traipsing through the jungles there, and there were still active Japanese there at the time. And oftentimes we'd find them scrounging around near the mess halls. But
What'd you do when you found them?
we kill them.
So they'd come looking for food?
Yeah, they come looking for, we shot them. I mean, we did the same thing in combat. Every time we got the prisoners, we kill them. Well, it was the indoctrination from the Marine Corps and what you see with your own eyes and know of people who've been through it, what the Japanese did. You know, it's like they always say, remember the Alamo. We remember Midway Island. We remember Corregidor, you know, Bataan. We remember all those things. And we remember and seeing what the Japanese did, beheadings and killing all the Marines and even the Army and Navy. You know, they gave no quarter, no mercy. And after we did it a few times, it was second nature. It never bothered me. My conscience never bothered me. And, you know, we had more opportunity to shoot the Japs at close quarters in Okinawa, you know, 3, 4 at a time. But on Guadalcanal, we find Japs out there coming in on our territory. I mean, it would be nothing for me to shoot them, or another guy say, hey, look, there's a Jap, and he'd blow them away with a BAR. You know, we had an Indian there, Chief. He killed a Jap with a machine gun barrel. He went over, he just caved his head in, and I mean, I don't like to say it, but you know, we sort of learned from them, but they were brutal, and I guess we were brutal to a point. But we learned that it was either their butt or our butt, and it's not going to be ours. And I saw a lot of my best friends get killed. It was always after the fact. I mean, you never saw the officers. The officers spent most of the time in officer country. We used to go down and steal from them. But you know, you're all the troops. All your buddies are together. There's no officers around. Even the NCOs, they could care less. And I mean, even when I was on sentry duty one time at the ammunition dump on Guadalcanal, 2 Japs come by. They went right by me. And they didn't get far before someone killed them. I didn't even know they were Japs, to tell you the truth. And, but on Guadalcanal, you know, even 20, 30 years later, some of them finally came out of the caves. But, well, you've been to Vietnam, war was hell, and while we were training on Guadalcanal, we used to listen to the radio of Tokyo Rose, and she knew we were on Guadalcanal, and she was telling us about the Battle of Iwo Jima. We didn't know what was going on in Iwo Jima, and she was telling us how the Marines were getting slaughtered on Iwo Jima, and she says, we know you Marines on Guadalcanal, you should give up, surrender, because all your girlfriends and wives back in the States are cheating on you, so give up. And so we loaded up the ships, all our gear and everything. We were issued new gear and so forth. We got aboard the ship, and we were the only ship that was there at Guadalcanal at the time. We did not know where we were going. We were guessing. We were thinking Formosa, truck. Okinawa never even came up. And of course, well anyway, aboard the ship, we arrived, I don't know, a week later at the Caroline Islands. And at the Caroline Islands, that's when daylight came, we saw the Armada, as far as you could see. And that's when we went from the transport to the LSTs. And as I repeat, that's when I saw the Ben Franklin coming burning. And after we boarded the LSTs, we hoisted anchor and we all headed for Okinawa. It took us almost 2 weeks And we arrived the morning of April 1st, Easter Sunday, 1945. And when we arrived at Okinawa at night, it was deserted. We're the only ship there. But when the dawn came, as far as you could see, there were battleships, cruisers, transports. There were more ships there than there was at D-Day at Normandy. And at 0800, we get in there. We transferred over from the troop ship to the Amtrak. And on the way to the Amtrak, we saw all this black smoke in the horizon. And as it got closer, we saw it was an aircraft carrier. And when we got aboard the LST, we asked the sailors, what ship was that on fire? And they said it was the Ben Franklin aircraft carrier. It had been kamikaze by 2 or 3 Japanese aircraft and was heading back to Hawaii or Guam.